that testing happens at the end of the life cycle, right? You don't test it until you're done with everything else. And you brought up an excellent point, which is this idea of test early, test often. And this is where the shift from a waterfall, particularly into an agile life cycle, has the benefit of being able to provide earlier testing, testing as part of a development activity rather than completely separate from it. And so, but honestly, like moving your mind from document as a noun to document as a verb, the life cycle industry, despite plenty of evidence to the contrary, has really been slower to adopt Agile than anyone thought they would.
Definitely.
Because there's a couple of misperceptions about it. One of them being that Agile means fast. And that's not what Agile means, right? If you just look at the word Agile, it means nimble. It means able to easily change direction, right? A mosquito is agile, but it's not particularly fast. And so there is a misconception that an Agile life cycle gets you to the end date faster. And that continually disappointed people who thought that, and therefore they abandoned it.
Sure.
There is also a perception that Agile was not an appropriate use for in a regulated space, because the regulated industry, starting with FDA and some of the EU harmonized standards, but then really with the advent of ISPE and GAMP, built this concept of a framework that says you have to have all of your requirements nailed down before you can move now to your design, which then you move place to place. And this shift into a more iterative model and backlogs and involving your business users and your customers, it wasn't how our education system was training in software engineers. And because our computer science programs back in the 90s and early 2000s were just creating problem solvers who solved problems in a silo in a corner, right? It wasn't a collaborative, iterative sort of process, except in some group project that you had to go suffer through and then get to the end and hope somebody in your group didn't screw you over. That was it, right? And that wasn't the real world, but that's how we trained our software engineers to think. And then we threw this idea of documentation at them, and they just wanted to get to coding, right? So then we had to drive them with a whip on documentation, but we didn't change the nature of who we taught them to be. And so this concept of collaborative development was hard to wrap your head around, and it introduced risk. And now we're right back to, but we don't like risk and we don't know how to manage it. So we're just going to avoid it and stay with this waterfall program we know, because Agile feels risky. So let's just not go there.